Let's play. And we are on. So,
Woohoo!
this is another episode of the Dearly Deep Hearted podcast with your host, D. Lamar. I've never introduced anything like that, just so you know. Just messing with you. But, yeah, this is. I'm trying to think I was just telling you that I want to do like more than one episode per week. So,
Yes.
I think I might try to do a Monday, a Wednesday,
Mm-hmm.
and then Friday. So you will be Wednesday.
Oh, okay. That's
Yes.
quick.
Yes. And I could. So on the line, we have. I feel like I should call you Miss for some reason. Like you got a little sass to you.
What? All
Yeah.
right. I could be Miss.
Miss Miss Jahari.
Miss.
Did I say it right?
Yes, Miss Jahari.
That's right. See, I can read. I know how to read. But no. So, how did this come about? So, let me do some brief, background real quick. We don't really have that much of a background, but I would say that this meeting has been very like roundabout, circular. Kind of came from out of nowhere for you to just be, talking to me right now. So, if you don't mind, I will explain that real quick. And sorry if I sniffle a little bit. I think I have my third cold of the season. This is what happens when you start
Oh,
working with new people.
ouch.
Yeah. I'm fighting it. I don't
Yeah.
really feel bad, but, like once you get ready to go to sleep, get a little congested. But
Well,
anyway.
I just got over my third cold about a week and a half ago.
So weak.
Week ago, less than that. Yeah, yeah. So good luck with that.
I mean, it's not a
That's so
rough one.
funny.
If it was a rough one, I would have been like, nah, I can't even do it. Like, I would have just been
Yeah.
like, I'm tired. I'm about to just go to sleep and we could, put it on hold. But, so, this started a few years ago from, I'm not even going to say the app, but it started from an app. Let's just say
Started coming out.
a date matching app. The kind where you swipe left or right based off of someone's looks and a brief description of themselves. So yes,
Yes.
I've definitely, been one to play around on the apps. Oh, and just so you know, sometimes on my end or your end, I still can't figure that out. One of us might be like delayed. I guess it's just the way the phone thing is set up or whatever. But if you hear me pause, it's because I'm allowing you to like talk and whatever. So there you go.
Okay.
But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so we don't talk over each other. It doesn't really happen. Once you get into it, it's all good. But anyway, so yeah, I want your perspective on what you were just telling me, since I mean the people kind of already know, me and they know my situation. So, what was your experience with matching with me on that swipe left, swipe right
Hmm.
app?
So, Mike, okay, can I say that we actually matched on more than one app? They
Hey,
were both swiping apps, but in more than one platform, um, seems to always match with you in this situation. So, I matched with you in more than one place. We started to have conversation and chit chat, and I always felt like our conversations were good, our vibe was good, like kind of funny, fun, funny, lighthearted, all that kind of good stuff. But you were very much, and I guess that's related to where you were in your life, your dating situations, however, you were interested in one thing. You were all about sex. That's all I'm interested in. That's all I want to know you for. I'd be like, don't you want to know if I have kids? Nope. I don't want to know if you got kids, a dog, a mama, a daddy, nothing. I really am only interested in having sex with you. Would you like to come over and have sex? Would you like to meet somewhere and then have sex? I don't really want to get coffee, but if we could just have sex, that would be great. So that was, even though like we had a fun vibe and stuff, it was just sort of like, I think I want to be, I'm looking for someone who's like at least interested in maybe a little bit more about me, like what my hometown is, I actually was just coming out of a relationship, and like you didn't really have any background on any of that, really. So it just was sort of like, well, that's a little bit. I guess I'm looking for just a little bit more than that. So, yeah.
So I was that like forward?
Yes.
Really?
Without a doubt. Yes. Yeah. I feel like,
Okay.
well, I don't want to just have sex, but we could have ice cream. I don't really like ice cream. I like sex.
Ice cream. So I will just also say that we, like when we just matched again, I knew who you were when I first saw you, but it was just very vague, and I was just like, what is it about this person that's so familiar? But I just I couldn't, I couldn't remember, like at all. So
Mm-hmm.
now that you just said ice cream, like something just triggered back into my head, and
Yeah.
I'm like, now like I'm fully like everything is like coming back to me. Like everything is starting to come back to me. Cause you had said we had talked like years ago, and I was like, nah, it was only like 3 years ago. But I think it had to be at least 5.
No, it wasn't that long.
It wasn't?
I mean, it may have started around 5 years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah. That's
But no, I would say maybe around 4. But
4.
we would sort of like talk off and on, back and forth for a really long time. I mean, it was probably almost a year. Like, because maybe we would go for a few months and not talk, and then come back and start chatting again.
Yeah.
So in that kind of scenario.
Okay, so my ice cream story, or the ice cream story, because I'm about to blow myself up on either a good way or a bad way. But what
Okay, do
I'm
tell.
remembering about ice cream is that we, like you said, we had been talking, and I was very just like, nah, like, we could just do this. We don't have to do all of the meeting and talking and all that kind of stuff. So,
Right. You
but
can just come to my house and knock,
yeah,
and yeah, come in and have
but
sex.
didn't
Just to
you?
continue.
Okay. And this is what I'm saying. I don't know if I'm blowing myself up or not, because I'm trying to make sure that you are the person that I'm actually thinking about. Like, I know that I 100% think that I'm right, but I mean, like we said, it's been years, and so,
All
but
right, we'll see. We'll
a
see.
part of me, or the part of me, is remembering that you had basically said that yes, you could come over, and then I was just like, okay, cool. And then you asked me, would I bring some ice cream? And I was like, what? Like, no. And then I think that is what kind of, because this all, if I'm remembering correctly, the reason why I didn't remember is because I think this conversation, us meeting the first time, or talking and matching the first time, all took place in like maybe a day or two when this conversation came up about the ice cream. So what I'm remembering is you saying, me, I don't want to say like enticing you, but me going there, like you said, real tough, and then basically getting through your barrier, and then you basically saying, okay, you can come. And then I'm like, all right, cool. But then you were like, are you going to bring some ice cream, or can you bring some ice cream? And then I was just like, wait, is she serious? And then I think I might have told you, like, you could go get the ice cream and we can eat it when I
Oh,
get there.
oh yeah.
That's what
Yeah, I
this
remember
is,
that.
right? Right?
I think that's
It
the
was
first ice cream conversation. I think there was another occasion when it was
okay.
just like you want to meet up one afternoon
Yeah, that
to get
too.
ice cream.
I remember
Yeah,
that
but
too.
yes, yeah, you're right. I forgot about that first ice cream day.
Yeah. See.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. I didn't want to blow myself up or you, but I mean, so I guess I back then was. That's why I said it has to be like 5 years, maybe 4, but it
It
must
could
have
have
been,
been 4 to 5 years ago.
yeah, because it had to be like the tail end of me staying at my mom's house. Because when I was at my mom's house, that was a lot of back and forth or whatever. I think I had just moved back up here from Los Angeles, and then I think because that was like 2014, if I'm correct. I don't even remember the years like that. But anyway, I'm saying all that just to say that yes, you did have a very strong, like pushback, and then I just kept pushing, and then I think that I broke through. But then when you mentioned the ice cream, I was kind of like, I'm not bringing no ice cream, probably because I was just being a jerk. And I would like you to just know now that I'm not gonna blame it on, I was going through something or anything like that or whatever, but that is, I was not open to anything more than, just a quick hookup, to be completely honest.
Yeah,
And a lot of
I
times
know.
I'm still like
And you
that.
made that clear at that time.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
why we never hooked
Yeah.
up.
And
But that
so,
didn't. I
yeah.
don't think that diminished the fact that, um, like, I felt mostly positive about you, and I feel like maybe you felt that way about me too.
Yeah,
Like
of
we could have
course.
a cool friendship or whatever, but
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like no hard feelings. We would still talk to each other and make each other laugh and stuff like that. Share
Yeah.
playlists
Yeah, we still
all the time.
talked, and we still did that, like, for, like you said, over the next few months or a year or so, or like more than a year. But
Yeah,
I'm just,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so I guess more or less, like, getting back to what we were just talking about, is basically what you're saying now, is that's all that I was, ready for. That's all I was interested in. And again, I'm not trying to make any excuses or anything like that, but you know, just to put you in the hot seat, I feel like if I would have played my cards right that night, maybe something could have, transpired on, on the positive on my end, something that I wanted. Even if it was just hanging out and kicking it, and then me seeing you, and then you saying, "Oh, okay, so he is cool." Because I think a lot of times with a situation like that, it's actually feels good and bad at the same time. Because like if I put myself out there like, "Nah, this is all I want," a part of me is like, I want her to just say yes, and we can do this and we can get it over with. But another part of me is like, if she just says yes, like I think something else is up. So it's like I want you to say yes, but at the same time I want you to give some kind of pushback, because like a straight up yes is like, it's a little too aggressive even for me. Like if you would have been like, "Oh yeah, for sure, come over right now," I probably would have got scared and not came. I would have been like,
Mm-hmm.
"I can't do that." like no, like you must be trying to rob me or something like that. If you just say it, just come over. But
Right.
but yeah. So I guess also what I would like to know is, knowing that that was my main thing, what was it that, you know, made you continue to talk to me if I didn't budge? Because we still never met.
Well, like I said, I mean, I felt like we actually had interesting, like, little conversations and rapport and stuff, and we would text back and forth and talk to each other.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it was good conversation. A lot of people don't, they can't make decent conversation,
Mm.
you know? And so I think you would usually always say something that would make me laugh, you know? Oh, and you're a good flirter, too. You're good with a nice text flirt.
The best.
And so yeah, it was like fun to flirt with you back and forth.
Yeah, I'm pretty
And
awesome.
then yeah, you'd say things that are like complimentary and sweet and funny, but then like always a little bit of like sarcasm and a little bit of like a little bit of bite there too, you know. So like when I say my little things or make my little jabs or whatever, like not all overly sensitive about it, but sort of jab back too.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely know. I'm good with words. I am definitely good
Hmm.
with words. That is why I honestly prefer, texting because it gives me a little second to think about it before I just like blurt it out. But then also that's why
Hmm.
I like doing this as well is because it's practice to be able to just like come off the cuff and just talk and not thinking about it, and not think about it. So
Right.
that's what is good about this. Okay, so you called me a goofball a few minutes ago.
Oh
I
my
want to know the
God.
raw feeling of that because I'm already forgetting why you said that. But I want
I
to
forgot why
know.
I said it too. Um, I feel like I need to look back at the text. Was
I think
it
I
like
need to
when?
too. Let's go back. Let's go back
Okay.
and see why I was just called a goofball. Because I was like, what? Okay. So, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. So this is just me being like a jerk and a creep again. You said that I made you feel, you said you wanted to feel like a human being and not a piece of meat. So, my thing about that is I was raised right. I was raised, by some amazing, people. And I know I have good values and I know my right from wrong. I know I have morals and stuff like that. But I think in my life, like when it came to sex, I've always kind of had like this I don't know, this weird relationship with it whereas like I always wanted to be open with it and just express my feelings, but at the same time I've always like covered it and kept it down. Like I remember when I was young, the boys played a, who would you do it to game, stuff like that. And I would always like just get quiet. I would just
Hmm.
be like, I'm not doing that. I felt like that was bad or I felt like it was degrading. And honestly, I didn't have anybody in mind, and I'm talking like in high school even, I was, that just wasn't me, but I mean, and I'm just, talking now, but I didn't even lose my virginity until I was like 19. And
Hmm.
it wasn't special the way I always thought it was going to be or anything like that. But
Right.
even after that, it took years for me to become a very sexually active and open person when it comes to the get down. Like it took I didn't even start getting into sex like that. Well, I was always curious about it, but I like I said, like I held it in. But when I opened up, I was probably around 24, 25, maybe 26. So obviously we just were talking only a few years ago, and like I'm 38 now. So
Hmm.
I'm I feel like now that I am very open to the conversation and to the act, I feel like there should, if there's a chemistry or even not a strong chemistry, but if there's just like a little bit of chemistry, I feel like there's nothing wrong with just indulging in the act. So for me as a, and I maybe it's just because I'm a man, I'm a male, I wouldn't mind being a piece of meat. Like I feel like that's what a lot of time like, and this is funny because,
Okay.
and I'm gonna let you talk. Just don't forget it. What you was gonna say. Keep that thought.
Okay.
But I
I'm
feel
gonna
like
try because there's a couple.
good. Take your notes. But I feel like, and this is gonna be so bad. And I don't know if it's because I'm a Leo or I have a big ego or not. But like I feel like everywhere I go, like I'm desired already. Like I feel like
Hmm.
the first thing that pops into some woman's head, even if she's not like intimate, like I'm talking about like the first meeting, like I see a woman on the elevator or I see a woman walking down the street coming out of a store or something like that. I feel like her first thought about me is like sexual. and maybe not her saying, thinking, she wants something with me, but in my mind, I think she's thinking something sexual when she sees me. She could even be thinking, I know he wants me just for that. And it's like this weird energy. Like if I pass somebody, like I said, or not, like, or just, I always feel that. So it doesn't necessarily bother me. And or even like when I have certain relationships with people, that I may come in contact on a regular, like say for like work or somebody I see in a restaurant or something like that I go to. I still feel that like all the time, but I think people have to be appropriate. So you can't just go around saying, hey, meet me at this time on this day and let's get it in. But I do feel that energy a lot, and I could be wrong. So maybe it's just me being twisted in the head. So you go ahead.
Okay. Because I feel like you only reported part of that conversation.
Okay,
Or
what?
that that me calling you a goofball
Oh yeah.
is stemmed out of
Go back. Okay.
me saying that I don't want to feel like a piece of meat,
Yeah.
right? I want to like be a human being, not just being like a piece of meat. Now, I am you're a Leo. I'm a Scorpio.
Oh,
So
heard
that's
about
just
you all.
to get it on or having like, sexual thoughts and thinking about sex and imagining sex and envisioning sex. All of that is like right down to the core of who I am. And I also, I think sex being like loving and beautiful between two people who care each other and want to share their souls with each other, like, that's all well and good. But I don't think that that's the only purpose of sex. I think sex is all about enjoyment and fulfillment and, listening to your body and what your body wants. So it's not on that level that I objected, but it was just sort of like on the basic level of like when I would try to want to engage, you'd be like, no, I'm really only trying to have sex with you, right? And
Yeah.
so when I said this to you a little while ago, you were like, well, what could possibly be wrong with me desiring your body and,
Yeah.
stating that I like it or something, And I'm like, oh, God. I called you a goofball because you were being intentionally obtuse, in my opinion. And so, like, there may have been another name that popped to mind that I would have called you, but I decided goofball was pretty non-offensive and, like, it was on the very low on the rung of insults. So I went with goofball. That's like a one.
Okay.
But, because I'm like, come on, I don't need to explain this to you. You're a smart guy. Being told that you're, if I told you that you're sexy and you're attractive and, I feel the chemistry and the energy when we're in a room together. That's fine, but that's different than me saying, all I'm interested in is the dick. Give me dick. I don't want to know your middle name. I'm not interested. As you're saying to me, well, but hey, my name is Beyonce. Like, don't you want to know about anything about me? Nope. Just give me the dick, and then you can be on your way. That's different from me telling you, I like your energy. I think you're sexy. I appreciate you. You're tall. You're dark. You're handsome. You're kind of yummy.
Yeah.
And I'd like to explore that. Like, I feel like those are two entirely different things.
I mean, they definitely are two entirely like different things. But like I just said, like I just admitted, like I feel like if you had come on, with being coming on that strong, I'm not gonna say it would have been a turn off. It would have just more so been sorry, excuse me. Choking a little bit. Sorry, I would have been hesitant. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, whoa, she's like just really with it that easy. I would have been hesitant,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? But also, like I said, at the same time, if you would have came with the energy of like, oh, like, no, I really want to get to know you. To me, it's like it has to be like a good balance, I think, for me. Like it has to be like a really, really good balance. Like I want you to desire me, but I don't want you to, and I don't mean you, I'm speaking in general.
In general, right.
I want you to desire
And
me, but
see,
I
I
don't
think
want you
I felt
to.
like I was there for the balance,
Yeah, yeah.
but you weren't really because of whatever was happening with you and your life and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You were like, nope, I'm not looking for any balance. I'm really only looking for just this. And
But
it's like, all right, you know.
but see, that's the misconception about like what I was going through.
But
Excuse
that's
me.
what you said to me.
I probably was lying. I use that as an excuse, and I use it as like a um a a sabotage thing, and I've spoke about this on my podcast before too. It's like based off your pictures, you were somebody who I was definitely attracted to, somebody who I would want to get it in with. That's just off rip. That's just that. And even off your personality,
Mm-hmm.
is like
And you would.
you seem
It's
cool.
good.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, still like even when we matched again, I was just like, oh, I mean, well, you spoke before because I could.
Mm-hmm.
It was the one where I can't say
Yeah.
anything first, but but I didn't. I mean, to be honest, like I don't like, and I think I may have spoken about this before on apps. Like you can't a dude can't really be picky, and it gets boring after a while. Like if you just kind of like, oh, I like her, she looks okay, so I'm not gonna choose her. So I pretty much just swipe without even looking, and then I get the matches, and then if it's a match that I actually like, then we can talk and we'll have conversation. But it's like
Mm.
if I was to just like be choosy and picky and read and do all that, I probably wouldn't have no matches, or I would have very minimal. So I say that just to say that.
Thanks.
But again, at the same time, like yes, I didn't get to see you this time basically. But I saw your pictures and was like, oh yeah, that's her. But I don't remember exactly what we talked about until
Mm-hmm.
we talked more and stuff. But yeah, but the thing about it is, I'm not the type of person I separate, and I've done it numerous times. I separate how I feel because I don't know if I even mentioned to you because you said you hadn't listened to the podcast yet, but I don't think I mentioned to you about my ex basically. So that's what the podcast is, basically based on. It's about pretty much our final you know breakup, like the one
Mm-hmm.
that ended everything and whatever. So yes, I had been. It was an on and off relationship for like years. So we had already been talking for like years or whatever. I mean, we were together for years and then we were off for years and back and on, still talking throughout that time. But I've always pretty much separated how I feel about another person. Like there hasn't really been anybody that I've not pursued. Well, actually, I'm not gonna lie. It's like one person who I thought about who I hadn't pursued because I still had feelings like for my ex. It's like one person, but it wasn't even like a serious thing. It was like we had like a quick like coffee date, and I was like, this. She's like super nice, super pretty, but I know I still want my ex, so I don't even want to bring her down that like road or whatever. So we just never kicked it again. But at the same time, she ain't never really hit me up like that either. So I guess maybe she wasn't feeling me, or she was feeling that I, wasn't feeling the situation like that. But anyway,
Right. Right.
but I say that to say, like, when it comes to you or other women, I can separate it. It's not like, oh, like I'm going through it, I'm sad, so I don't want to be in a relationship. It's literally because of how I actually feel. And I mean, that's a revelation for you right now. It's literally based on how I actually have felt for my ex. It's not like, oh, I'm sad
Yeah.
about her, so I can't see another woman like that. It's because the feelings are still there, so I don't necessarily want to. And again, you said you didn't really listen. There was like one other person who I did grow feelings for over the past, like few years or whatever. So it's not. I sabotage the situation to save feelings. Ultimately, it's not me saying, "Oh, well, we can't be together because I have feelings for my ex." It's me saying we can't be together because I genuinely don't see you as, my next
Because you're not going to
girlfriend.
be able to like show up and be present in this relationship,
Yeah.
and you
Like,
don't have the feelings for whoever person you're meeting that you had for the last one. So kind of like, why bother?
yeah. So
Is
it's
that what
like,
you're saying?
but I mean, yeah, I'm definitely saying that. But then at the same time, it's like
Mm-hmm.
I can recognize a good, great woman at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, and you maybe can even agree with this, like you kind of sometimes you just know whether or not someone is that one for you or at least some potential. And so,
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
yeah,
Almost immediately.
yeah, thank you. Almost immediately. So, like, that's pretty much like how I am. But I also believe that things can grow into something as well, to a certain extent. To a certain extent, I feel like that initial feeling means a lot, but at the same time, if it's not there, right away, there was still something right away. So I feel like
Mm-hmm.
over time, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you can that feeling can grow. And so like with most women that I meet, it's like I don't feel that feeling. That's just like, okay, go for it. But what I do feel is this is a great person. This is a really good woman. And
Right.
if I continue to talk to this person or if I open up, then we could definitely probably get into a relationship. But then the pattern with me and my ex is that she comes back, and then
Mm-hmm.
it's like I don't. It's like I'm like, even if we don't commit when she comes back, it's like I can't be in a whole relationship and then just you know
Right.
cheat.
Yeah.
I mean, I could,
Right.
but it's like,
But
and
you,
that's
yeah.
what I would do. Is like I wouldn't say no, whether I'm in a relationship or not.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like I said, like
Yeah.
I end up sabotaging the situation because I'm like, you know what? I know that we can't have this, but we can have this. So if you're still down with this, we can do this. And I always leave it open to have, friends and have fun. That's why we're basically, even talking right now is because I don't just completely like write people off. Like I don't that's not my thing like at all. Like I feel like if we were say for instance our paths did go down that sexual, lane or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
we would for me we would still talk. Like we'd still talk, we'd still be cool, we would still have like, you know, a regular standing thing, and I feel like eventually we could probably, hang out like a lot even. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, it could have turned into like a relationship, but I think at the same time I'd be telling you I wouldn't be able to even help it because obviously as you can see I made a whole podcast about it. But you'd end up knowing that there was somebody else who I'm like still, you know, still have feelings for. Basically, we'll just say that without getting all dramatic. But I think you
Right.
know that eventually. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Well, you told me that years ago, actually.
oh, so I did
You
tell
did
you
tell me
that.
that. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, basically I
Not in
was,
like enormous amounts of details, but I do remember, yeah, an occasion when we were talking and you told me.
yeah. And I mean, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
I say that because I'm like just letting you know, like we could be cool, but I don't know about much more, outside of that. And I feel like I get myself caught up in that mind state to the point where sometimes the line can be pretty blurry where it's just like, wait, are you actually, putting these great women in, you know, putting these great women on the shelf because you know you just don't know how to have another relationship, or is it because you actually are waiting for your ex to come back, or are you just like delusional? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I
Yeah,
do.
it could also be that you're waiting for the right one for you. That you may have, like you said, you've met lots of great people, but she's not necessarily like the one.
Yeah, yeah,
You know? Yeah.
but
And I feel like also it's been enough time now where that don't you feel like that moment is kind of like passed between us and now we're just kind of friends?
um Describe what moment you mean. Tell me exactly what
Like
moment.
I don't. I mean, when I saw your face pop up, it was like, oh my god, it's him. I remember him from a couple of
Yeah.
years. I haven't talked to him in forever, you know. And so it was like immediately, like you know, and yeah. Hope that you were going to remember me and like me too, but I forgot that you told me that you just like everyone. You did tell me that years ago too. But either way, so it was good. And then once we started talking, and we both immediately remembered each other's faces and stuff because I didn't remember your name either. So yeah, I don't think that there's like a great dating potential. I feel like there's a lot of history between us. Plus, you just get mad at me when I wouldn't come out to just give you ass.
I don't think I got mad. Did I
Oh
get
my god.
mad?
Oh my god, I used to get mad at me.
See,
She'd be like, okay, then whatever, fuck off.
I told you that
Oh my, yes.
in so many words.
That really just told me to fuck off. I think I was like, okay.
But then we probably talked after that.
Yeah, because then you would come back like a month later, 2 months later, and be like, hey. And I'd be like, what the fuck? I thought this guy told me to fuck off.
I must have
And
really
I'd be like,
wanted it.
hey. And then we'd start talking again. I'd be
See,
like, oh, you again? I thought you hated me and that I should go die.
and I'm trying to remember. By this time, I must have had my own place again. I don't know. Because
Yeah,
I
you
definitely
did.
wasn't trying
You
to tell you
did.
to come to my mom's house.
No. At that point, you were trying to come to my house, but then no. Later on, you ended up moving out and like getting your own spot. I remember talking to you about it. You were quite excited,
Yeah.
and you got a new job. And I was like, "Oh, what's your job doing?" You're like, "It doesn't matter. It's not my passion." And every time I would
Oh,
ask
yeah,
you
that's
if you
true.
tell me your job,
Yeah, I tell everybody that though. Like that was a different. I actually just now got another job. The job that you're talking about definitely wasn't something like that I wanted to do. Like I didn't mind it. It was cool, but I hated it there. Well, I didn't start off hating it,
I
you know.
didn't mind it. It was cool. I hated it.
Well, I'm saying things changed over the course of time. Like when I first got there, I was excited to be there. Then things happened, and then it was just like I hate the situation, but I'm cool with the money. And then just recently, I started working. I work somewhere else now. Basically, I'll tell you offline.
Okay.
But I started there in September, and it's still not my passion, but it's what I'm good at. So I'm there. But no, but see, that brings me to another situation. Like my thing is, if it's, I get men and women are different. I'm different than a lot of men, so I'm definitely different than most women. But my thing is when it comes to like just meeting off of apps and stuff like that, I don't like to talk about my personal situations like right off the jump because I don't like to be judged, and I feel like when someone, and I'm not saying you asked from right from the beginning, but just to put it out there, like I get annoyed when I'm asked like, so what do you do? Because I feel like, what if I said, I don't have a job, or what if I said, I I just started working as a cashier or the fry person at McDonald's, or I'm a courtesy clerk, and whatever age or whatever. I feel like I'm automatically being judged, and I don't feel like my job is what defines me. So a lot of times I'm like, who cares? Like and I get it. Sometimes people just really want to know, like, no, I want to know, see if we have something in common, or see, let's talk about it. But again, it's work. I don't like to talk about work when I'm trying to have like fun. So that takes that part away. That negates that. Like I don't want to talk about what I do at work. Like especially if you're not really interested. Like it's one thing if you're like, oh, I own my own company, so I'm asking what you do to see if maybe I could put you on and pay you more. That's different. But if it's like I just want to know what you do to see if you like it, see if you're passionate about it, see how much money you make. I'm like, that never matters because why, whether, like, if I can't afford you, if I can't afford to take you out, then we're not going nowhere. Like, period. If I can't afford to get you a gift, you're not getting the gift. So it's like, it don't really matter what I do. That's why now, just like, if that question comes up, I just say, I work, I have a job, it's legal, I pay my bills. Like, I just don't like talking about, I just don't like talking about, like, my job. I mean, like I said, like, right off the jump. I feel like that's just a question. Like, it's like a qualifier to me to see if you're gonna,
Do you?
especially on an app when somebody asks you that question. It's like, it just feels like a qualifier. Like, if I say, I work here, then it's like, okay, I can continue to talk to you. And if I work there, it's like you wake up in the morning and you're unmatched. And that's happened to me before. So,
Right.
you know what I'm
Do
saying?
you know
Yeah,
what
go
I
ahead.
do for a living? Like, do you know my work, my job?
No, I don't. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Why? You want to tell me?
I mean, sure. I'll
You
tell
you can
you.
tell me now.
I'm a
Yeah,
mental
yeah.
health.
See, I'm also years in now. I'm a little bit more mature in this, so we could talk about
Okay.
work now. Let me know what's up.
Well, so I'm a mental health clinician, right? So I
You said
counsel people
mental
all
health
day
clinician.
in my
Okay.
life. I counsel people.
Yeah.
So I guess when I'm asking someone a question like, what do they do?
Mhm.
I'm sort of getting a feel for just like who they are, what type of personality they have, what types of things that they do. Like if you tell me that you are, I don't know, um, a project manager or that you're an analyst or whatever, I'm going to know that like you're good in math. You probably have somewhat of an analytical brain. Knowing how you've spent your day also sort of gives me a sense of like how you are in the evenings, what your mood might be like. You
Mhm.
know, if you've been dealing with people all day or if you've been shut in at a cubicle by yourself all day and you're ready to talk or you're
Yeah.
ready to be quiet. You know, like if you prefer to work in a small environment or a big environment, if you work at a big company versus a small company, if you work in the education field and you work with kids, like I'm learning about you by knowing how you spend your time in your day.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just more information about you. And it's not really, for me personally, it's not about like how much money do you make, how much status is there in the work that you do. It's really knowing more about you and like your personality.
But was okay. So that's great actually, and I do understand that. But does that so putting me or you putting us back into that mind state of when we first started talking, even versus now, like me being upfront and saying like, hey, we could talk. I'm not saying like I could just come over and then you just butt naked right there when you open the door, but if I'm more open, like what is that? Is me being more open basically like making you more open to something sexual, knowing that that's as far as I would like to go for that meantime? Or is it just basically, again, like you qualifying me just to be a friend, to be more than a friend? Or is it like all of the above? You know what I mean? Because that's the real reason, like why I mean, not the real reason, but that's one of the main reasons why I'm like, well, why do I gotta talk about my job if we're just here just to play? Like we're not here to talk and
Exactly.
get to know each other.
But that's why we would always end up kind of sort of not talking anymore because that was like, you know,
Because I
I
wasn't
get
open.
that. You don't really want to talk to me about anything of much significance because you just sort of keep reiterating that you really just want to have sex.
Yeah.
And, you know, at some point for me, that just becomes boring.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm glad that I'm having this conversation with you because it is definitely like eye opening and enlightening to hear, you know, like somebody tell me how I made them feel about them, not I didn't make you feel any way about yourself, but about the situation or whatever. Because honestly, like I read Aziz Ansari's book like a few years ago, and it was basically about like online dating and like new age dating and stuff like that. And so,
Hmm.
although there was lots of information in it, the one of the lines that really stuck out to me honestly was it was like actually towards the end, he was like, you have to learn and realize that although you don't see that person on the other end of the phone when you're just texting or whatever, or like matching with them, that's still a real person. So would you say some of the stuff in real life versus the stuff that you say, on online? And like,
Yeah, yeah.
the truth is, like, if you were to ever meet me, like, we'd probably like not do anything but talk. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like maybe back
Mhm.
then, maybe even now, like if it was on some real, like, oh, let's just go meet for coffee or meet for ice cream, like you said, either I would just be completely like quiet because I'm only thinking about what I really, really want, or we would just be talking the whole entire time. And honestly, that's probably what would end up happening, and to the point where we get to the end of the outing, and then I'm like, I'll give you a hug, maybe a kiss on the cheek, and then you go your separate way, and then I get home, and I'm like, dang, like we didn't even get to do nothing. But
Well,
I
so
would
that's what I
never.
meant when I said, "Don't you think the moment is kind of past? Like, don't you think we've kind of come to this place now where we're like kind of friends?"
I mean, yeah, that, and if that's the moment, then yeah. But I would definitely still do it to my friend. So that's that's what I was trying to get across, is that maybe the moment of dating, because again, I'm still not in a place where I'm more focused, to be honest. I'm more focused on my new job, and I'm more focused on this podcast and being creative than I am in starting a new relationship. And
Mhm.
admittedly, like, regardless if my ex comes back or not, like on my last episode that I did, well, not the last one, but technically it's the last one because I already did one this week, but the previous week, the upload, I mean, I pretty much got roasted by my guest, but they were just being open and honest. And that's the thing is, you know, I don't mind the open and honest conversation. But even at the end of the episode, I was like, yeah, but I'm probably not going to take none of your advice. And I was joking, but I was serious at the same time. Like,
Mhm.
I feel like when you want something, you want something. I actually just had a brief conversation with my best friend on Sunday, and we were basically,
Mhm.
I forgot why we even talked about it, but it kind of came up about relationships, and I basically told him the same thing, and he was agreeing, but I was basically saying, like, I don't know when that other person comes around. It's not about me still wanting my ex, like you just said. It's about when that other person, comes around. Like, if somebody could come into my life and make me want them as bad as or more than I wanted my ex, then you can't control that. Like, just the same way I can't really control how I feel about my ex even right now, because trust me, there's
Sure.
days where I mean, there's work you could do. You could hypnotize yourself for one. But you know what I'm saying? You could go to therapy. You could do all that kind of stuff, since I know you're into the, mental health. You could read a lot of books and stuff like that. But I feel like those are definitely tools that can help you move forward, move on, and get over some stuff or whatever. But I like this natural progression, and I'm okay with the result. Like, if the result is I never marry or date someone serious again, like, I'm okay with that. Like, I don't feel like, and I could be wrong because I don't know the future, but I feel like if I turn 60 and my ex is the last person, like, I love, like, I don't really care. Like, it's the outside people that attempt to make me feel like I'm doing something wrong by still loving her. And I feel like that's just like a made up, like, rule. Like, it's not like I'm stalking her. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not, doing anything, physical to her or anything like that. It pretty much stays with me, my feelings, and, with the podcast. So I don't see anything wrong with it, but I know a lot of people have different definitions. I've been asked the question numerous times, like, so you really would never be with nobody else? Who knows? I don't know. If a sorceress comes in and makes me fall in love with her, then that's who I'm gonna be with. But yeah.
Well, but I don't think that that can necessarily happen. Like, I think don't know if anyone can just sort of come along and make you fall in love with them. I think you kind of have to be somewhat open for it. You have to be open to being able to fall in love. I think, I don't know. I think so. I think you kind of got to be open, like, guard's down. I feel like my guard is kind of up. That's sort of probably one of my issues. I think my guard is sort of like permanently up at this point.
Yeah.
But you have to be in a place where you're like ready to receive love, and sort of whatever is there for you in the universe. And so maybe that's sort of what people are objecting to for you, that they feel like as long as you're kind of maybe hanging on, that it's hard to be open and receptive for the next thing to come into your life.
Yeah, but I think, like you said,
but that's not doing anything wrong, but that's just, it just sort of seems like the way the universe works.
But to be open, it's still, I feel like that's still a choice as well. But I feel like when two people fall for each other, or when two people really feel that feeling of, like, oh wow, like they're just stunned, or, feeling like you got knocked off your feet. Like, I feel like it doesn't matter your current situation. That's just me, because that's honestly how I've always been. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember all of the women that I've been in love with, I still remember the feeling of first meeting them. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so then you can compare it to the next person. And it's kind of like, it's gonna be a rare thing, because we're meant to be in, to have relationships of all kinds. We're not meant to just walk around on earth by ourselves. We're meant to connect with people. That's why we have language. That's why we have senses. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like there are those rare occasions where somebody you just cross paths with and you just feel a feeling. And to be honest, like, I felt that feeling with people who I've never even spoken to, and they're just like gone in the wind now. Like, even today I was at Target, and like the way things kind of line up is like, it's always crazy. So I'm in Target, I'm looking for some deodorant and some Q-tips. And I'm in a Target that I'm not very familiar with. I'm in San Francisco. So I'm walking around and I'm like, I see this beautiful woman walk in, basically, right? She walks in and like immediately it was like, I wanted to know who she was. Like, I wanted to know more about this beautiful woman that just, walked in the store right after me. And so we both, but again, like, I don't really like rejection, so I wasn't just going to jump on it. And plus, I was like, I wasn't really sure, but I kept on seeing her. I ended up like being basically in the women's aisle, because again, I was looking for, Q-tips and deodorant, and I couldn't find it. So I kept passing like makeup and stuff, and she was right there as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I just kept on, seeing her, and then finally we passed each other, and it was the hello and hi. But I felt that feeling of I'm supposed to talk to her. I should talk to her, I should say. You know what I'm saying? I felt that feeling like I should say hi. I should try to get her number. Like, who knows? Like, she could be, at least somebody who I get to know. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't talk to her. I just walked out of the store. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, my God. This could be a whole nother episode. That is so frustrating.
Yeah, of course.
I hate it when I go places and, and you make eye contact, you look at each other, you say, hi, how you doing, and he never steps in and strikes up a conversation.
Yeah, never. I know.
Always like these weirdo freak ones who'd be like, oh, yeah, can I get your number? The ones with nothing to lose in life ever.
Yeah, exactly. I've heard that too. And that's the thing. Like, I just knew, like, I walked out knowing that I'm never going to see her again. And the thing is, I may see her again. You know what I'm saying? And you can let that pass. But my point to all of that is, Yeah, there's certain people you that cross your path, and you're just like you just feel that feeling, and like I felt it with her. And again, maybe I'm tripping. Maybe there was no feeling. Maybe I was just super attracted to her, but it went deeper than that.
Yeah,
You know
that
what I'm
probably was
saying?
an attraction. But you also think that every woman who sees you is thinking she wants to fuck you.
Yeah, definitely. With her, I didn't necessarily feel that with her. I felt like she wanted me to talk to her,
Yeah, I'm sure she did.
and
I'm
I
sure she did.
and I just was like, but see, you know what? This new generation, not saying new generation people, but I'm saying like the way things are now, like everybody has their headphones, and of course this has been going on for years now. But it's like you got to be a little bit more forward to get somebody's attention because I don't like when people try to talk to me when I have my headphones on because I put my headphones on so that people don't talk to me. I'm in my own
She
world.
had headphones on?
She had headphones on, yeah. So I feel
So when
like,
you guys asked each other, did you make eye contact?
yeah, we looked at each other and said hi and everything. We kept passing each other like probably like 3 or 4 times because I was in the women's section, not like clothes, but you know like the beauty products and stuff. Because like I said, I was looking for Q-tips, and I was up and down. It's like I'm
I feel
passing
like Q-tips is
lotion.
code for something right now for some reason.
No, Q-tips is Q-tips. No,
Like
no,
I said, I was looking for Q-tips.
no. Sorry, I made that sound funny, but
Anyhow,
yeah,
so
no.
I feel like that was the went down a path, but anyhow, yeah, I think you probably should have talked to her, and I think you know, as far as the ex thing goes, when's the last time the ex came back?
Um, we talked. Like I said, we ended in May, but I heard from her when on my birthday, which was August 21st. That was it.
Okay. Well, um, so wow, so that means that you guys, unless this is a different ex, which I don't think it is,
No, same one.
you guys got back together since the
Oh
last
yeah,
time I
that's
talked to you.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, this is the same one
Mm-hmm.
that I've been since 2010, basically.
Dylan. Okay, yeah, Dylan was for a long time. Yeah, well, listen, that's still a pretty recent breakup.
I mean, but
It's
it was
still a
on and
pretty recent
off.
breakup.
It was on and off, so
I
I
know,
can't
but
say.
you know, it's a recent ending.
Well, yeah,
What do they
recent
say?
endings. I mean, not really. I mean, May. I mean, it's been 6 months. Like a lot can
That's
happen in six
recent. Are you
months.
kidding me? It's not like it's been 6 years. 6 months is like it may have been.
I mean, I get it, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like for me, the way I feel like it's been like forever, and I
That's just
feel
because you
like,
miss her so.
well, yeah, but I feel like I mean, this is the beginning of 6 years, so.
The beginning of 6 years.
Yeah, I mean, in comparison, you said it's not. It hasn't been 6 years, but it's only been 6 months. I feel like this is the
Um,
beginning of the end. Like this is just the first few months of us never talking again. So
right.
yeah,
And they say, you know, it takes like half the amount of time that you were with the person to get over them.
that's gonna be all
So,
choppy
you
and
know.
broken up. So technically,
Mm-hmm,
5 years is how long it's gonna take.
That's what they say. I don't know.
They tripping.
I
But see,
was,
well, wait, before you go,
well,
before you continue, see, this is what I
okay.
said. How it always somehow goes back on me. I didn't do it on purpose. We supposed to be talking about you. I was gonna ask you some questions because you know what? I'll just touch on that really quick without putting your business out there. So you mentioned, you know, that you wanted to start a podcast, and you touched
Hmm.
on the topic, and that's why like I was really like, no, we just need to talk right now because you touched on your topic being not necessarily topic ongoing, but like the basis was pretty much the same as mine. You know what I mean? A Someone just getting out of a relationship and then starting a podcast. That's ultimately what I did. So
Sure. Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
think that
So
would be
I don't. I don't want to start a relationship or, like an after divorce podcast. I was saying that might be
Yeah.
relatable in terms of what we talked about tonight.
Yeah.
But
No, that's cool.
yeah, I mean, I'm just a sort of, because like I said, I am a counselor,
Yeah.
a mental health clinician, and I work primarily with teenagers. That's like my little specialty, I suppose. And so I was trying to figure out a way to sort of like take that and sort of put that into podcast form, sort of trying to figure out what that would look like. But it's not something I really ever thought about doing before. It's just something that sort of has come up in the last, I don't know, a few months or so.
Yeah.
And I do think that it's part of my journey, as because I did get divorced.
Yeah.
I became single in 2014. And then my divorce was final in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
So, all kinds of new beginnings and finding different areas of strength of mine, my strengths, my weaknesses, my all these things.
Yeah.
And so, and feeling like, oh, you know what, that might be something I'd want to do as part of my new self.
Well,
my journey.
Yeah, I feel like podcasting is like, it's been around obviously for years now, but I feel like it's like this is the wave of everybody doing a podcast, because I feel like I was telling you, like, I didn't know how to get it out there. That was like the biggest thing. And I was just like, how am I going to get my podcast on Apple? How am I going to get my podcast on Spotify? And then it was always like, well, you have to have an RSS feed, and I have my own website, planetaxiom.net. That's the one I sent you. That was the page from there or whatever. But it was like trying to figure that out was like science. And even when I figured it out, Spotify worked and a few other ones worked, but then for some reason Apple wouldn't work. So of course Apple is like the biggest one. So I was like, no, I gotta have it on that. So I ended up paying for this one called Buzzsprout. And they host it, they host it and distribute it. But then there's also this one called Anchor, and I don't know what it is, but I've started posting, because I kind of have another podcast as well called The Dipping Sauce. But I've only done 2 episodes or whatever. And that one's just more, general, like pop culture, movies and stuff like that or whatever. And I'm going to try to throw in like, the curveball is like talking about like mythological creatures. It has nothing to do with anything at all. But yeah, check that one out too. But I did that one on Anchor, and it's only gotten 1 play so far. So I don't know, like, if it's because people aren't too familiar with Anchor, or I don't know, like, or they just know that I already have this one and they don't want to try something different. But then I also post that same, I have 2 episodes, and I post those on my main Dearly Deep Heart Id podcast too, and I get numbers on that one. But for some reason, I can't make it pop on the Anchor one. But the Buzzsprout ones, I don't know, maybe it looks better to people. But the cool thing about Anchor, to be honest, which I guess I'm plugging them right now, is you can add music to the podcast. After like post-production, you can add music. You can add an ad. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can put like a recorded ad on there as well. So I don't know. It seems fun, and you can get paid. Like, you get paid for doing like ads on there. So I don't know. But for some reason, yeah, I've only got like 3 plays. I got 2 on the first episode and 1 on the next one. So I don't know. But I get the same exact episode. I get a lot of plays on the one that I host from Buzzsprout, the one that's on Spotify and all that. But anyway, yeah, I definitely think that you should start a podcast. I would encourage anyone to do it, because at the end of the day, literally, like I said, you could use the Anchor one or you can use Buzzsprout, and you don't have to have like a fancy microphone. You don't have to know anything at all. Like, don't just try to be, unless that's the niche that you're looking for. You don't have to be like the super professional host, because if you've never done this type of thing before, you're gonna just have to just jump right into it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not sitting here with like a notebook, and I did try before to have like a notepad and questions and stuff like that, but I was like, I just want to have a conversation with people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know my story, And I know that once we get to talking, things get to rolling. You know what I'm saying? That's where it's gonna, end up. That's where the good content is gonna come from anyway. And as far as like, certain questions, like, yeah, sometimes I do write down questions and stuff like that, but they're kind of just used for like, if that's what the point of the podcast is to ask questions, you know what I mean? But for the most part, like, I just kind of like wing it and just like gotta go at it. I'll just have stuff in my head, of course, but I don't really use notes and stuff like that, which not saying
Right.
it won't help, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so anyway, definitely
Well,
do it.
all right. That's on my 2020 vision board. So
Yeah, get
wish
to
me
it.
luck.
Heck yeah. And if you need any help with that, definitely let me know. So, I don't know how much time you have. I don't want to keep you, but I definitely wanted to talk about you and your situation because I am intrigued by knowing about what makes someone get into a marriage, and then what's the real reason. You can answer it quick or you can go long, but what makes what how do you divorce somebody? Because I have my theories on why something doesn't work, but I would like to hear you first before I sound like a JA.
Well, I mean, there's no one right answer, right? I mean, everyone's reasons for why they get divorced is
Yeah.
different,
Yeah, and you don't have to tell
right?
yours, but make up something. Like why. You can tell me yours if you want to. I don't like to. I don't want to pry. Well, I
Okay.
do want to pry, but
But I
I
mean,
don't
if we're
want.
talking about like because I have a few friends I think who've gotten
Yeah,
divorced.
tell me
I
about
had
your
a friend who
friend.
got divorced.
Tell me about your friend, and don't you
I got
don't say their name.
okay. Let me tell you.
Okay.
I had a friend who got divorced from her husband after 3 years
Yeah.
because he was not having sex with her. He was
Mm-hmm.
not like trying to be intimate,
Mm.
and she was what, like 33
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. I think something along those lines. And yeah, she was like, I'm too young to get married and then know right off the bat that like my husband's not trying to be intimate, he's not trying to be sexual or romantic or any of those kinds of things. Like, I can't be married to my best friend forever.
Yeah.
And they really literally were like best friends, but there was just no sex. And so she wasn't sure what that was about, but unfortunately she had to get divorced after only like 3 years.
But
Um,
no, go ahead.
but what?
No, go ahead.
Um, I had another friend who she and her husband got married in the first place because they fought so much that he thought maybe if they got married, that would sort of end all of the disputes that were between them, and like there wouldn't be anything to fight about anymore because he finally gave in and gave her what she wanted, which was the ring. But that only led to like 10 more years of insane fighting and butting heads all the time, and then just not being on the same page about anything in their life at all.
Yeah. See.
And I got divorced after 16 years, mind you,
16.
because I felt like my husband just did not have like good ethics. Like he didn't have good moral principles, really, I guess, and
He was
that
a
would just
criminal.
show itself in a multitude of ways.
He was a
That poor
criminal.
character. Pardon?
I said he was a criminal.
No, he wasn't a criminal. No, nothing like that. He
But like
just
he was
he
not
just
even a
he just
jerk
he
because I
didn't
think
have
I
good
could be a jerk.
integrity. We'll put it that way. He did not have good
Ah, yeah,
integrity.
yeah,
And when you don't have good integrity, you can do all kinds of shit that is just foul.
yeah. No, yeah,
He would do shit like charge things on my credit card, charge my birthday present on my credit card, and give me my
wow.
present, and then hide the credit card bill and don't pay them.
Shit, he would act like he bought it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is what I was. This is what my theory is, and of course, I ain't never been married, so I probably shouldn't even. I can't even really speak on it. But I can make that disclaimer. But I feel like and I'm again, you can punch me when you see me or you can get mad now, but I feel like a lot of people just get married for the wrong reasons. Like period. I feel like if you like love is one thing, but to be married and committed to somebody and say we're going to do this for the long haul forever, like I feel like it has to be either just such a strong love, unconditional basically, or it has to be like for the right reason, which I don't know exactly what the right reason is, because the only reason I could think of to marry anybody is just like if I have unconditional love for them and I know that this is the person who I want to wake up with every morning and go to sleep with every night. Like that's always been my thing. My ex, on the other hand, when we first started talking, she told me, that she didn't say she necessarily believed marriage was about business, but she had mentioned, I don't know if it was like a friend or family member or something like that. She said she knows that they're married because it was good, for both of them business wise. And I don't know if she meant like they had a business together or if it was just financially good. And, she was young saying that, you know what I'm saying? So, like, for me, marrying her never really came into play. Like, I knew that if it came up, then yeah, I would love to do that. And it came up a few times, you know what I'm saying? But I just, it wasn't, I just wanted to be with her, period. So, like, for me, being married, it just means you love that person, like, unconditionally. Like, there's no reason, like, unless she tried to kill my kid or something like that, I don't think that I would want a divorce. And I mean, maybe it's the biblical side of it and all, you know what I'm saying? Till death do us part. But really, I just feel like, because even now, like, we're not married and I still want to be attached to her. So I feel like if we were married, I'm 38 now. Like, how much longer do I really have? Like, and also, like, the whole cheating thing, I feel like, to me, if I was to get cheated on by a girlfriend or a wife, I don't feel like I would, like, at this time in, this age and time and age, whatever, I just feel like I would just be like, you stupid. Like, why would you do that? Like, I wouldn't want to be like, I don't like you no more or we have to never talk again. I would just be like, why? Like, what was the point? Like, do you feel better now? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want me to go, then you can divorce me and you can tell me you don't want me anymore. Or that would be another reason for me to get a divorce, is if she, like, straight up was like, I don't want you anymore. I don't want to be with you anymore. But, like, worldly things like that, like cheating or, I guess being a jerk, like not having integrity and stuff like that would make me look at my woman different. Like, man, you
So,
foul. But
is it important to you to feel like you have respect from the person that you're in a partnership with?
is it important? Yeah, it's important, but it's not. But I feel like I wouldn't take it to that level if there wasn't any respect in the first place. So, like, yeah, of course, like, I feel like my ex had respect for me, and I feel like she lost respect for me in a lot of, different instances and stuff like that. And I feel like the respect was gained, was gained again, but then, it was lost again. So I feel like, yeah, it's definitely, important. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like once a woman, doesn't respect her man anymore, then, you gotta fight. It's an uphill fight. Like, that's period. Like, that, you messed up.
So, I mean, that might be one of those situations where you would find yourself feeling like you have to get away from this person because this person is demonstrating to you through their actions that they don't have much respect for you.
But then I would be trying
And
to
the
make
longer
her
that
respect me.
and the longer that you stay there and continue to accept that type of disrespect,
Yeah.
then you start to not really have as much respect for yourself.
I don't think I would ever lose respect for myself, but I feel like I feel like if like I said, if I have that unconditional love for this person, and this is the person who I want, and this is even something like I told my best friend when he was going through his divorce or whatever, is, well, he wasn't going through the divorce. I think either she said she didn't trust him or something like that. but we could change trust into, respect or whatever, just for conversation's sake. But I told him, like, if this is the woman you want and that's what she's asking for, then you do whatever you can to make her trust you, to make her respect you. So I feel like if that's the woman who I want and she's giving me chances because she's still here, like, I get being disrespected, you know what I'm saying, or her like not wanting to be around you and stuff like that, and that's looked at as disrespect as well. But if she's still coming around and you guys still have an intimate relationship, I feel like she's still giving you, that chance. And I feel like my ex was giving me shot after shot and chance after chance, and I feel like a lot of times I didn't rise to the occasion, and even when I did, it was like, too late. But I feel like if this is the person who I really want to be with, then I need to gain that respect, just like anything else. She keeps me on my toes. So I feel like, yeah, you may have lost respect for me because I may have done something wrong, or, I said something wrong, or maybe I got fired because of something I did that was stupid. But then if you're still around and you're still my wife, if you're not filing for divorce, then that just means I got to step it up 100 times. That means that now I have to go get a certain job that that's 20 times better than what I had. I got to become the boss. I have to start a company to make the woman I love respect me. That means that whatever I did to wrong her, or like say for instance I did something wrong to one of her friends or a family member or something like that, that means that I have to go read books. I got to become a better man to right all of the wrongs, or for whatever made her disrespect me or not respect me any longer. I gotta now, if I want her, I gotta make her respect me again. I'm not gonna just be like, oh, my wife doesn't like me anymore, so I'm gonna let her go. Like, no, this is who I want. So I mean, that's what I was saying. Like from you telling your 3 examples is like, nah. Like I feel like, to be completely honest, at the end of the day, there's not much that would make me leave the person who I love. The same way I wouldn't divorce my child, the same way I wouldn't divorce the woman who I chose to be with for the rest of my life. Again,
what
if she wants a divorce, then I'm out.
I feel like you've turned my question to you being the one in the wrong. Like, what if the woman that you married to was being outright just like disrespectful, disrespecting you and your relationship and your marriage, and the way that she was treating, the way that she's conducting herself in the relationship is not respectful to you.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
What if she's cheating? She's cheating on you, and she's doing this. And you're going to take that. You're going to internalize her actions.
At the end of the day, and like I said,
and that's what I mean when I say when people start to lose respect for themselves, because that to me, if I had looked at the things that my husband was doing, and looked at that and said, you know what, Jari, you've got to try harder.
Yeah,
you've got to do better, because he clearly wouldn't be doing these things to you, Jari, if you were doing all the things that you should be doing as a wife.
Yeah,
like if I was doing my part, then you wouldn't be doing all. So let me try harder. Let me get home earlier and like make sure his dinner is cooked when he gets home. Make sure this house is spotless. Make sure that I've done this and I've done that, and the kids are perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like, now I'm going to turn myself inside out to try to fix something that when I'm not the problem.
No, yeah,
that
I feel like
and that shit that he's doing is what's the problem.
No, yeah, I 100%. I agree with that 100%. Like, I'm not saying change myself.
I wasn't gonna stay there and keep like taking his fucking shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just because I made a commitment. Because right now I'm starting to reach that point where the commitment that I made, it's not working for me. If I'm waking up every day feeling like shit, I'm starting to feel depressed. I'm questioning myself. I'm wondering if I'm good enough, if I'm lovable enough, if I'm this and I'm that and the other. Because this fucker isn't treating me like he loves me.
Yeah.
He's doing whatever he wants to do and doesn't give a goddamn about how I'm feeling right now.
But that goes back to what? Okay, so 2 things. That goes back to what I said.
To me, that's definitely grounds to like moves need to be made.
Yeah.
Changes need to occur.
No, that's what I'm saying. That goes back to what I'm saying. Like, I feel like I don't know your relationship, in inside and out. I don't know how you guys met and all that. But so
Yeah.
I can't generalize it and say, oh, you guys married for the wrong reason. I can't do that. But for me,
Well,
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
and I also don't think that you should assume that people's marriages fall apart because they're married for the wrong reasons. Like that's most people who get married, it's because they felt like they were in love unconditionally. This was the person that they wanted to love for the rest of their lives. For the
Most
rest of their
people,
lives. Like,
you can say
yes,
most people get married. Let's say
yes,
50%,
most
since
people.
that's who get divorced as well.
Exactly.
Exactly. So
Exactly.
that's what I'm saying.
So,
So we
like,
could even
let's
say
not be
49,
naive and
51.
think that just because you were no, most people who get married is for the right reasons.
I can't.
But
I
it's just
mean,
that those couples also end up getting divorced because, unfortunately, love does not last forever all the time.
no,
Human
it
beings
doesn't.
and our instincts to be human and all the ways that we fuck
But
up
see, that's what I'm
can tend
saying.
to
Like,
really fuck some things up.
that's what I'm saying. In a relationship, like if I was in a relationship right now, like you said, I wasn't trying to put it all on like me messing up. So let's focus on her doing things that are foul or whatever. Like if she went out and cheated on me, but then can still come home to me and then still say, she still wants to be in a marriage, or say she still loves me, then I'm gonna look at it like there's something's wrong with you. And not only that, you're gonna continue with this behavior. That's on you. I made vows to be with you through thick and thin. So whatever you got going on, that's gonna be you. If you don't mind your friends judging you or your family judging you, that's fine too. But it's internally is what's gonna eat you alive eventually. But again, this is me saying if she's saying that she's not going to leave me. But if she comes and she's just like, I cheat on you every single day and I'm divorcing you, like I'm filing the paper, then I don't have a choice. But no, that's my wife. That's my woman. That's the woman that we have children with, the one that we've grown together with. Let's say our marriage is 10 years in and suddenly she just feels like she has to cheat. I'm going to look at myself first. Of course, I'm going to look at myself first. Like, what is it that I'm not doing right? If I then assess that situation and realize, hey, I'm not doing nothing wrong. And then I ask her, like, is it me? And she's like, no, it's all me. Then I'm like, okay, do you still even want to be in this situation? Do you think we have a future? If she says yes, then yes, I'm going to go sit myself down, take care of our family, let her do whatever it is she needs to do to get it out of her system, because obviously she wasn't, quote unquote, ready to be married. And she's been faking it for the past, I don't know, 3 years, maybe 4 years, maybe 5, maybe the whole entire 10 years. But if I say that
Can I ask you a question?
yeah.
So what if that happens? That scenario that you described happens, just like you said it.
Yeah.
But you stay there and you're patient. You stay the course because you guys have made commitments to yourself, and that's what you were trying to stick with.
Yeah.
And she says, "No, I don't want to leave with you. This is just what I did. What I felt like I needed in the moment. I'm sorry, whatever." And then you stay the course, and you guys figure that out. And then 9 months later, she's doing that shit again.
Then, like I said, there's something wrong
you
with
guys
her.
you go through the whole same thing, the whole scenario. Okay, blah 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 blah. She doesn't want it. She says she's going to stop seeing him, but guess what? She's still seeing him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And now she said she's, now she's off on a trip with him somewhere, and she posted pictures on Facebook of her and her dude, but she's still married to you. So are you going to continue to just keep staying with her and keep like figuring this out because you've made vows?
Yeah,
While she's on vacation
on
in
her.
Mexico with her boo, and you at home with the kids?
Yeah, that's on her. Like, whatever she does, I can't control what the next person does. And I know, like, you're not even saying anything that's extreme. So, but I'm saying something that's extreme. I'm saying, yes, I'm going to stay with her until I no longer want to be with her. So, yeah, if I see her on a trip and posing pictures, and I feel like, oh, I no longer have feelings for her because she's hurt me so bad, then of course, yeah, I'm not saying I'm going to stay because of the vows. I mean, I may have made it seem like
Okay.
that, but no, I'm not saying I'm gonna stay because of the vows. I'm
So
staying
it was
because
starting to sound like you were saying they, no
no, no,
matter what,
no.
there's nothing a person could do to make you divorce them.
No, what I'm
I'm
saying
like,
is
wow, really?
if I love this person unconditionally, then I'm going to stay. And if she's really this, like a serial cheater, then I feel like yeah, that means she really doesn't want to be with me. And then if I even more so if I get to the feeling of she just doesn't know how to say she no longer wants me, then yeah, then I'll say it for us. Like I'll be the strong one to be like, hey, like you don't want me, like you don't like me. So even though I'm still in love with you and I wish you never took that route, you don't know how to say let's end this. So I'll say it. And then she can move on and do her thing. But if I don't feel that, then no, I'm staying in the situation. She can like what the next person does has nothing to do with me. Like that's basically what I'm saying. I can't control what somebody does. And to be truthfully honest, I'm not saying people get cheated on all the time, but people get cheated on all the
Oh, they
time,
do.
and you never know.
People get cheated on all the
People
time.
don't
People
talk
get
about
cheated on
it,
all the
and
time.
I know that if I was in a relationship and I wanted to cheat, I guarantee. Well, I'll give you a 97% guarantee because I don't know the future. I guarantee you, I wouldn't get caught. So you just wouldn't know. Like
Sure.
you just wouldn't know. And I'm not saying that it would be with the same person all the time or it would be like multiple people, but I guarantee I could get away with it because one, I'm not gonna tell on myself. Like I'm not gonna just
Right.
one day admit it, like, hey, I cheated on you 5 years ago. I'm not doing that. And unless you actually got pictures and saw me on video, I'm not saying yeah it was me. I'm gonna make up something like that we was acting. Like I started an acting class. Like that's all that was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna like, and that's if it even gets to that. And I mean, I'm joking, but like, so people do stuff all the time. That's why it's kind of like in my relationships, like I'm not, I don't need to have your phone. I want you to have, I want you to trust enough to know that you can have your phone, and I don't have the password. Like if I have to have the password to know that you're not doing something, then I feel like that's a problem. If you give me your phone to be like, look, I'm not doing nothing, then I'm gonna be like, what are you doing? If you just, if it's just like, here, babe, like, like you can use my phone to call, blah, 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 blah. Then that's how I'm gonna feel like, oh, I got her phone. Like, obviously, there's nothing in it, or she's not testing me or anything. But I mean, I think it's a lot of different, roundabouts that come with those, with relationships like that. To be completely honest, I just feel like you never know what that person is doing. Like, me and you right now, like, I'm sure we have secrets, right? Stuff that we've done that may or may not come up in conversation between me and you, but I'm not gonna just tell you everything I've ever done in my life just because we're being
Right.
open. You know what I'm saying? So in a relationship,
Sure.
same exact thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not going to tell you everything that I do, especially if I'm doing dirt, and I wouldn't expect my wife to do the same. But at the end of it, I feel like we're all human. And again, I'm not saying everybody cheats, but everybody cheats. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a cheater.
Mm. Mm.
I would never cheat.
As the man who already has his cheating all planned
Oh, of
out.
course. But see, that's the gameplay right there. Like, like that tell you right there. Like you can't, you got to believe what you're gonna believe at the end of the day. If me and you got into a
Right.
relationship, I just planted that seed in your head, but now you will never really know the truth. So you could either trust it. You know what I'm saying? You could either trust that I did it behind your back and you just will never find out, or you can trust that also I said I would never cheat. That's on you, but again, that's on you to figure it out. So if I don't show you no signs or whatever, then we rocking. But no, yeah, like I don't know. That was a lot to basically, just say like I do feel like a lot of times people get in, people get divorced because, and I won't say this is the only reason, but that's like my theory. One of the biggest theories for me, I mean, one of the biggest reasons is because they shouldn't have been married in the first place. Now you get somebody that's married 15, 20 years, that's a little tricky. Like you said, 16, that's a little tricky. But at the same time, in another situation, a lot of times people stay together because they don't know how to get out of a situation. or they're uncomfortable, or they
Right.
don't want to. They're too prideful. They don't want to show their family that it didn't work. You know what I'm saying? So I don't feel like
Right.
I'm
So
wrong.
I want you to consider another reason for why people get divorced. Okay.
Yes, yes,
And it's like it's not like mind blowing or anything, but really the largest reason why people get divorced is because we as people, as humans, we evolve.
yeah, that too.
And we are no longer the person that we were when we got married at 25.
No, yeah,
And that's also part of why people wait longer to get married now. They get married when they're older, right? Because they're trying to, sort of figure out who they're becoming and get to be closer to who that person is before trying to commit to someone,
yeah,
rather than doing it when they're like 22 like they used to do. And there's so much growth and change that's going to happen. And what inevitably happens is people grow apart and they change in their relationships, and they don't necessarily figure out how to navigate their relationship as the new person that they are now,
yeah.
right? And so then it's like, well, who I am now is not compatible with who you are now. Us when we were, 28, that was different. But now we're two wholly different people. We've experienced a whole lot more life. We've
Well,
got a greater sense of what we need in this world. And even though we were so madly in love and committed to each other that day when we said I do, and like all the love in the world, and just knowing it's going to be forever, and we were going to beat those odds, then you find yourself there like 15 years later, 10, 15, like you've changed as humans.
I
And
mean,
don't
we
know how to like renegotiate or refigure out that relationship, or how to sort of like, keep that going. And then inevitably,
I mean, I
divorce.
agree with that to a certain extent, but at the same time, like you're saying people change, and then there's literally 1,000 quotes and 1,000 movies that say people never change. We all stay the same.
Those are
So,
movies.
but I'm saying, like, you hear it's a cliche for a reason. Like, I get what you mean by saying, time passes and people change, but I feel like people elevate. So maybe you're no longer equally yoked in that sense, but as far as changing your character, changing your personality, I don't feel like that changes. I feel like once you get more successful in life, that elevates, like you're able to do more. Like one of the things I should tell my ex, which is some sad, sappy stuff, is when we would go through it or whatever, because again, like I've never just been like super successful and financially secure and everything. I'm getting there now, but I would tell her like you've never met the real me, because I feel like once you're free, and it's not even just about money, but it's about freedom. So I used to, but I was talking about money then, and but now I'm using, I'm switching the word around to be free. But I would say you never met the real me, because there was a time before her where I wasn't rich, but I didn't have all these bills, and I was way more fun. I used to go on trips, you know what I'm saying? I used to spend money on mad clothes. Like I used to do whatever I wanted to do, basically. You know what I'm saying? But then again, you get older, you get responsibilities, and you have a kid and everything like that. So I used to tell her, you never really met the real me. You've met the struggling me, the one that's like that can't pay for. And I'm talking about when we were much younger too. But the one that can't pay for everything, the one that can't say, oh, let's book a flight and stuff like that, or let's take a road trip where we're spending mad money going up and down the coast and all that. You've never met that person. You know what I'm saying? So it's like now that I'm getting to that, I'm getting back to the Deontay that I used to be. When I was with my ex, I wasn't able to play around and joke as much as I had always done, because I was focused on trying to make it. You know what I'm saying? And then there was times where I would just get lazy. You know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't focus on trying to make it. You know what I'm saying? But so that takes you back even more, even more steps. But I'm saying that to say, like, yeah, people definitely evolve and they may get unequally yoked. But as far as like personalities, like when you're in that true essence of it's just you and the person you love, I don't think that person changes unless they were being fake for all of those years anyway. So if I'm laying up in the bed with the woman I love, and one minute, I'm all teary eyed watching a TV show and sad, and the next minute I'm acting, tough, when something else comes, she gonna look at me like, just the other day you was crying on this scene from This Is Us, and now the same type of scene is happening, and you acting like it's no big deal. So which one is the real you? You know what I'm saying? So again, like I feel like a lot of times in the situations like where quote unquote someone changes, they're not doing the things they used to. It's because they were lying all that time. They lied to get you, and then it started being uncomfortable for them in the relationship. And yeah, you know, you might realize that a person might have a whole nother family or something like that, living a double life for real. That's a psychopath. You know what I'm saying? And he's still coming back to you. But again, I feel like I gotta say it. It's because maybe you didn't know, and not you, but in generally speaking, maybe that person didn't know, but this is not the person that they really married. So you again got married for the wrong reason. Like you got married to someone who was not the person who they said that they were. You know, like my ex thought that I was, and because again, we put off when we first meet somebody, you know, we put our best foot forward. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't lying, but you know, like I let her know, like, oh yeah, you know, I'm into this, this, and this. And so she was expecting that from me once we started going, you know, getting deeper into our relationship. And then when this, and this never came up, it was like, you told me this, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, I'm like, yeah, I wasn't lying. It just never came back around. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never got back to that type of a position and stuff like that in work. But, you know, there are people who do completely fabricate their lives to get what it is they want. So maybe, you know, some of these people just got the, you know, the wool pulled over them, as they say. But comes right back to it. You got married for the wrong reason. You married a charlatan. You married a fake person. So when this person starts showing their real self, that's when you're like, oh my God, who is this person? Why is this person this way?
I would be interested for your listeners to leave commentary on this exchange and find out what do they think. Like, do they think that all couples who get divorced, or the majority of couples who get divorced, is because they got married for the wrong reasons?
Yeah. I mean, I could try to talk to them.
Are just faking about who they are and not really showing their true self.
That's just one part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, but on that particular topic, I'm just curious as to what they have to say. Because I mean, I would have to really adamantly disagree with you on this matter. But you know, that's
no,
fine.
And again, I'd
be interested to see other people's viewpoint on that, because I definitely don't think that that's the reason why people get divorced.
I think
or even that's the reason why they get married. That people get married for the wrong reasons, and then they get divorced because they got married for the wrong reasons.
Well, see, even with that said, like, that's the thing. Like, people may get married for the wrong reasons, but then they don't divorce at all, and they stay unhappy. And a lot of things happen in the marriage that, you know.
Sometimes people get married for the exact right reasons, and then they stay married for the wrong reasons.
Yes, true,
and they continue to live out in a relationship where they probably should have gone their separate ways, but they stay married even though they may have married for the right reasons to begin with, but they just, can't bring themselves to divorce.
What's the one, if you had to pick, I'll give you two. What's the two reasons to marry somebody?
I would say, first of all, that you love that person and that you feel like you have a partnership with them and you guys are like there to support each other and to back each other up and to be each other's confidant and to be the one who can, and their cheerleader, and to also tell them like when they're wrong, or like that you really have a bond with that person and you feel connected to them, like, and you were in a partnership and you love them and see yourself being with them forever.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of like a second reason besides that. I mean,
I really only wanted one, but I figured you'd have another one. But I can say I agree with that. Like, I think the main reason you should marry someone is because this is the person you see yourself with till the end of time, because if not, then you could be single or just be boyfriend and girlfriend, and then continue to date and find other people. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna hurt. Well, I can't say it hurt as bad, but being married versus just being in a relationship and getting cheated on, you might feel like you can never move forward either way. But more I would say it's more difficult when it's a marriage, because of its business, its paperwork, all that kind of stuff, the bank
Right.
accounts, all that kind of stuff. But I would agree. Yeah, I feel like that would be the main reason. But do you feel like you could love someone unconditionally that you knew could not always provide for you, or not even provide, but didn't couldn't always just be there for you? Like maybe they were emotionally not, there for you, or financially. Could you unconditionally love somebody like that? Is love
I
magic?
doubt it, because it's the could they be there for me when I need support? If they can't provide that, then why would I be married to them?
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. It's about love. Like, is that what love is? Just somebody who can have your back?
No, but it's a part of it. It's definitely part of it. You have to be able to feel like you can depend on your partner. I remember that was one issue that we had, was when I got uh, laid off from my job years ago, and I was like home and depressed and feeling really bad.
Yeah.
And he treated me with a lot of resentment. He would come home angry and irritated with me when he would get home from work, because I didn't have a job,
Yeah.
and I wasn't bringing in money. And rather than me feeling like I had his support and he was someone I could lean on and depend on to encourage me and let me know that I'm the shit, go out there and get it, girl. Instead, I felt like he despised me,
Yeah.
and that's not I can't depend on you.
No, yeah, I mean, I definitely think that that's something to be turned off on, from especially someone who's not supportive like that. And I'm not going to sit here and make it seem like, oh, no, well, I feel like, I'm not going to just disagree with you just to disagree with you.
Right.
But
I think that that's an important part of love and that partnership that we're talking about. It's not just about do they make your heart go pitter pat. Part of why you love someone is because you feel like you can count on them. They're a part of your support system when you need them.
I
You
think that's
trust them with your life, your heart, your emotions, whatever, and they're going to be in your corner. If they can't provide you that, what's the point?
I mean, I feel like for me, and again, maybe this is, a male female thing, but I feel like that's extra credit for me. Like,
Oh,
I feel like support is one thing. Like, yes, I want someone, that's one of my main things. Like, in a relationship, I want someone who can, like, support me, and, in the sense of, I'm not talking financially. I'm just talking about someone who, if I say I want to do this, they give me, the support, as in, that's a dumb idea or that's a great idea, let's do it. That I need that. I definitely need that in a relationship. I wouldn't want to be with someone who's just like, I don't really care what you do because I don't like you enough to care what you do. Obviously, like you said, that's not it. But I kind of do feel like if a woman, like you were saying, you weren't bringing in money, that's the kind of thing, I would never care about that. Like if I had a woman who just, if I can provide, then we're good. But well, then we got to figure out, why can't you find a job if you really want one? You know what I'm saying? Then that's a whole nother situation. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. And I guess even with that said, I guess I'm still plugging in, my ex into that, equation. I can't, I'm not thinking of a new person outside of it, because I feel like the standards of a new person would have to be high. But at the same time, I feel like if this is somebody new in my life that I'm just really feeling, and then I find out that they have all of these issues and problems, I would hope and pray that this time, I didn't fall yet, because I feel like if I fall for somebody like that, then I'm just gonna not make excuses for them, but I mean I'm gonna help them. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna help them try to be better at life, but I'm not gonna be like, oh, I can't be with you. I can't like you because you suck at life. And that's what it kind of like,
Mm.
you know, sounds like he was resenting you for, because he felt like that was you, and obviously that's not true. But I feel like I would again be by my partner's side, like, dang, babe, like, why you can't get no job? Like, let's go. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it
Let's
wasn't
let
so
me
much
help
that
you.
I couldn't get a job. It was
Well, not you, but you know.
I had just lost my job,
Okay.
and I was down about it
Yeah.
and sort of depressed. Like we're talking, like a weekend, 2 weeks in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not like it's been 8 months, 9 months, and I still ain't got a job.
Well, I mean, that's what I mean. Even that's what I'm saying. In my situation, like it was, I would get like temporary jobs and stuff like that or whatever, and be working, 3 months, 4 months, stuff like that for a minute, or getting unemployment and stuff. Like it was definitely really, really tough for me to get a job. I don't know what it was. I've joked around and said I was cursed. I really couldn't understand it, because to go from like I had a job, and like I mean I had a job and I didn't get another job for like almost 6 years, a permanent position. I mean, like a
Hmm.
full on permanent position, and
Yeah.
it was I 100% I couldn't understand it. Like it wasn't like I wasn't applying. Of course, like there would be times I would apply to a bunch of jobs at once and then slack off for a few days, stuff like that. But I think that's normal. You know what I'm saying? I think people just go
Sure.
hard for a little bit, for maybe even 2 weeks to a month applying, and then kind of like chill a little bit because you got some stuff coming in. But there was times where like I really just couldn't find nothing permanent, and even my job before this one, I really like it that one wasn't even permanent. It was like almost, it was frustrating to the point where I was just like, well, maybe it's just not really meant for me. So to go from not being able to have a job at all to the position that I'm in right now is almost like, it really feels like the curse was lifted. So that's a whole
Hmm.
nother conversation. But I'm saying that to say, like, during that time, like, she was definitely, like, she was still holding me down. She was still there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't
Right.
I don't know why. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I guess that's what I was alluding to. Like, was that love? You know what I'm saying? The fact that she was upset that I couldn't find a job. She was upset that maybe sometime I couldn't pay for date night. She was upset that like I couldn't do certain things financially, but there was other qualities that I could take care of 100%. You know what I'm saying? I was
Yeah.
still that person who she would come to if she had a bad day, or got into it with a family member or something like that. So it's kind of like,
Right.
is that an is that an equal trade? You know what I'm saying? Like if you were a dude that just can't find work, or maybe he just really just sucks and he just can't find a job because he's just whack, but
Well,
he's there
like
for
you
you
said,
in
I
other
wouldn't
ways.
start dating someone in that scenario, but if we were already together and that's my man, and then
Yeah.
now he's going through some struggles, no, he's not getting kicked to the curb.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, and I mean that's the thing. Like she never did that. I think at one point she probably thought about it and she held on, and maybe I messed up again and she was like, "Nah, I'm good." But yeah. So anyway, I know I purposely kept you for like another hour on purpose.
No, we have good convo.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It's pretty
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I will try to get some feedback though on
when did
what
you
you said.
get the
What's
job?
up?
What month was it when you got this job that you have now that you enjoy?
I started working in September. But before then, my job before this was a good job. It just wasn't permanent, but it wasn't like ending. Like I'd been
Right.
at that other
So I'm
job
just
for like
saying,
3 years.
I think some things have changed energetically for you. Like you earlier mentioned something about like being more mature than you were 4 years ago, and um, I think breakups are hard. I know that breakups are hard, but it could be that changing some of the energy of that was going on between you and her led to a lot of things. You know, led to you starting this podcast, starting to be more like introspective, or you may have always been pretty introspective, but you know, and then that might be part of what's helped to like lift the curse, is just because you're sort of like evolving into a different place.
Yeah.
And the energy is starting to change.
No, I definitely I can 100% like agree with that because I felt the shift. You know what I'm saying? Like again, like even just starting the podcast, like you had asked before, like if I had wanted, how long have I been wanting to do this? I'd been wanting to do it for a while, but I couldn't figure it. Like I didn't try to figure it out. But then when I did, I just went like all in. And just did it, and then over the course of the summer, like I said, like I was going through it. You know what I'm saying? Like missing her still, because it was still fresh, obviously, from May to like June, July, and stuff like that, or whatever, and even into August, and then of course, my birthday was coming up, wondering how that was gonna play out. But I just really started realizing, like, and I mean, I realized this before, but I started putting it more into practice. Like, I don't control this situation at all. All I can do is me. That's it. All I can do is go out there, try to make myself feel better. It's not up to her to make me, like feel better. All of the love that I have for her is already inside me. I created it, so nothing was taken away from me. Those are like some of the things that I had to like really realize, so that when I still get down sometimes, I still think about her. I still even have like vivid dreams, you know what I'm saying, about us in our situation. But I wake up every day and realize that I can't make her come back. Like nothing I can do. So even if I, slip up and send her a text or something like that, it's not to make her just, I'm not attempting to like make her do something that she doesn't want to do. And I've said this before too. I don't want her to do something that she doesn't want to do. So I do it because I'm being truthful to myself. You know what I'm saying? When I slip up or whatever, it was just a feeling. I had to get that feeling off. But for the most part, I stay away from that. And yeah, I just had to like really just do me. Like I have to make myself happy. So I think a misconception from what people that listen to this and become a guest or something like that, they automatically think like, oh, he's so stuck on her that he's not open to other, relationships. And again, it's not about me not being open to other relationships. I have actually, began other new situations and stuff like that. But this podcast lends its ear to my past. That's basically what it's about. It was based on that, and that's why I'm glad I kind of got to get into your head and not stay in mine, because I do want to hear more about other people's relationships, and that's why that was that was good for me to hear about your situation. I'm glad you just broke through the wall and went in and went there or whatever, because I feel like it's not, this podcast started for me to get my story out, but I want to continue it for other people to get theirs out as well. And it's not about putting them on blast or trying to make somebody hear it or anything like that. It's just do it for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, you tell me your story for you, and then I post it. Like it's not for anything other than the therapy behind the situation. So yeah, like,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing
You're welcome.
and being
You're
open.
welcome.
And you
Thank you for asking me to be a guest.
Oh, of course. And I was
That's
going to
an
say,
honor.
like, you could definitely, always, anytime you got to get something off your chest, like I told you, I want to do this multiple times per week. That is like really my plan. You said 3 times a week is a lot. Honestly, I'm trying to follow Joe Rogan, and he has like the #1 podcast. So if he could do 3 a week, then so can I. I just want to talk to interesting people, or people that aren't interesting but have an interesting story, because we all have at least one, as they say.
I've never listened to Joe Rogan's podcast. Isn't that interesting?
Joe Rogan is amazing. He's just an amazing personality period, just because he can sit down with anybody just like this and just talk. And he's not an expert. I mean, he doesn't try to act like an expert on the topics or anything. He's open to learning and listening. And I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, he says stuff that's, not necessarily, he doesn't say things wrong on purpose, you know what I'm saying? But if he, fumbles a little bit, it's like, oh, my bad. Okay. That's why we got somebody here checking, to make sure I'm not just making stuff up. So that's why I like him. He's like an honest, conversationalist. Ultimately, like he talks and he has multiple interviews, and to anybody from Robert Downey Jr. most recently to Lil Duval a few months ago, and then he'll have like scientists on and, people who aren't necessarily famous, and they'll just have great conversations. So, yeah. And he goes for like this, like 2 or more hours, like for real.
Wow.
Just talking.
Yeah. Wow.
It's almost like I don't know what else Joe Rogan does besides talk to people all day long. I mean, he had Donnell Rollins and the RZA.
That might be it.
Yeah, that might be it, because he's definitely number one for a reason. But anyway.
Most of the other podcasts I listen to are like once a week.
Yeah, I mean, all of the ones I listen to are once a week. Like, what are some, before you go, like, what are some of the podcasts that you listen to?
I listen to The Friend Zone.
Okay.
And I listen to The Nod. I listen to some like true crime podcasts and stuff as well.
Oh, check out.
Of course, I really
listen to Live and Die in L.A.
Oh, I've listened to that. I listened to, I think, the first season.
Yeah, then I'm waiting on the second one. That one was really good. I was sitting there like sometimes wanted to cry. I was like researching along, but I was like, I mean, obviously they figured out what it was already. It's a whole season, but that one was really good. No, that's what's up. That's cool. It's good that you're a podcast listener, because like I said, I really honestly feel like this is the wave has already started with podcasts, but it's being now like this is like the tip of the wave, and I feel like if you're gonna start a podcast, you have to do it now. You got time, but you have to do it now so you can like really put yourself out there, because like everybody's gonna have a podcast. Like the same way everybody posts status updates, that's the same way everybody is gonna have a podcast.
Podcasts are gonna be.
Yeah. Watch. Trust me, it's about to happen, because it's the same way like how music was. Back in the day, you'd have to have a record label to make music, to put music out. You know what I'm saying? And then when that was no longer the case, then the music industry just got flooded. Same with like movies and stuff like that. Now, once YouTube came, it's like flooded. There's like everybody can upload a 10-minute movie, and that stuff is making these people famous. They're winning awards, and podcasting is, to me, the next thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like the next thing that's going to be like, this is what everybody does. You're not special because you have a podcast. Even me right now, I feel like I'm already, like I said, the wave is already, going on, but now it's to the point where it's like, I know I'm the only one of my first, my first layer of friends that has a podcast. So, like, I'm special in that sense, but trust me, everybody's going to be doing, podcasts soon, whether it's 10, 20, 30, 40 minutes to an hour. Everybody's going to be doing podcasts within the next year. The same way, at first our parents and grandparents wasn't messing with Facebook and stuff like that. Now, being able to just pick up your phone and talk into it, is about to be a thing. So, yeah, if you're going to do it, I say, jump on it. I mean, people do live shows, make money off tickets. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, I know.
And they're just being themselves.
Podcasts I listen to, they're always touring and blah, blah, blah.
Yep. So, anyway, I listen to The Brilliant Idiots also. That's like one of my favorite ones. That's the one I always tell people to check out. So, I listen to Brilliant Idiots, Joe Rogan. Sometimes I listen to The Horrible Decisions. And that's because...
Oh, they're annoying.
I wasn't going to say they're annoying, but they are very for me, like being a dude, sometimes it's just hard to listen to him because obviously it's a very sexual, feminist type podcast. Anything goes, and for me, I'm like, I like them and I laugh sometimes and have some good content, but it's not something I can listen to all the time. But I mean, I do. I love both of them. Like for real. Like I follow both of them. I mean, even Mandy responds sometimes. So, but I think as a dude, I can't listen to them all the time, but I'll check out an episode, every once in a while. And then the Bully and the Beast podcast. Now that's the one I gotta listen to now. First it was Brilliant Idiots, then it became the Bully and the Beast podcast. If they take too long to drop or they drop a day late, I'm like mad. The same way when for like the Brilliant Idiots, because yeah, that one is
I've
just
seen theirs,
great.
but I don't think I ever listened to theirs, so I'm
They
gonna have to go back and listen.
I listen. See, so I had already been a fan of Wax. He's already been crazy because he was been on the Brilliant Idiots. But then I wasn't sure about L'Oreal. Like I didn't know too much about her. I knew she was on Angela Yee's Lip Service, but again, same with Lip Service as far as like horrible decisions. It's geared to me. It's geared more towards women, so it's like hard for me to listen all the time. But anyway, so L'Oreal was on that one. But when I had known their story about how they met and how they had like like not real beef but beef, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, I kind of want to listen, kind of don't. But I listened to one episode and was hooked, and then went back to the first episode and listened to every single episode. In like, I think at the time they had like 18. Yeah, I think they had like 18.
Okay.
I went back and I couldn't stop. I listened to every single one for like in a week or like a week and a half. I finished the whole thing and caught back up or whatever and continued on, and I will not miss an episode. But anyway, those are mine. So
Okay.
you could get up out of here. I'm gonna shout out one more. Her podcast about nothing. That's my homie Shayana. She's supposed to do an episode too, so I'm gonna just throw that out there just in case you want to listen to that one too, and I can send that one to you also. But anyway,
Okay.
thank you again so much. I was just trying to keep you to past the 2 hour mark.
Okay.
I'm just playing. But
Yeah.
we just did 2
I can't
hours.
believe we've been on the phone that long.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like I don't like talking on the phone. So this is growth.
Oh.
This is growth. Like for real.
See?
Like anybody knows me knows that I can't stand talking on the phone. Text me. I can't stand talking on the phone. But this podcast has allowed me to even open up in that right. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of good things.
Yeah. Well, good. Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much.
Milestone.
All right. Well, good
All
night.
right.
And I'll hit you after
Goodbye.
this or something. But I should post this probably by tonight. I mean, I'll post it tonight, but it'll come out tomorrow.
All right.
All right, I'm gonna send you the link.
Sounds good.
Peace.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Goes. Did it again. We got another one. Yeah, not much else to say. I think that was some really good, insight on a lot of things, I like when people are not afraid to, come back and tell me. I'm going to stay strong with what I got to say, but also I want the other person to not just give in to what I got to say. So that's another great conversation. She didn't want to be anonymous. That's amazing. Thank God. But anyway, that is the Dearly Deep Heart Id podcast. I love y'all. Oh yeah, Dearly Departed. We can start calling it the Dearly Departed. You don't gotta break it up into 4 words no more. This is the Dearly Departed. Love. Peace out. Now, which one do I turn off first? The camera. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Well, the camera's still.